Ghanaians support you, though. You do know that.
Of course, we have 150 plus 1. So we know that 49% of the nation didn't vote for us. But we are their government, whether they voted for us or not. And they are duty bound to support us, because if we fail, the whole of Ghana has failed.
When talking about failure, the minority in parliament says that you're failing. You're failing big time. Every Ghanaian now has a debt stock, or individually, 3,600 Ghana cedis approximately, to pay if the public debt of 90 billion Ghana cedi contracted by government is anything to go by. And the minority has been reacting to the finance minister's mid-year review and supplementary budget presented to Parliament last week. The minority said a public debt of the 90 billion cedis, which is almost 70% of GDP, is anything but sustainable.
Well, the minority has always forgotten that we have moved away from the 2008 economy, which was bequeathed to us by them. We have gone past it. We are about 100% the size of the economy we were operating, and so our debt levels have risen. That debt level is cumulative debt levels, which also involve what they borrowed.
Oh, sure.
And so, yes.
But the truth is, by the time you came into government, the public debt stock was about 9.2 billion, I believe, or something of the sort. The percentage, as far as we're concerned, was about 9.2%, and now we're almost hitting 70. That's as serious as it can get.
You know, I can't confirm that, but the truth is that we are taking on a total debt package, and we are not denying that we have that debt package. It's part of our strategy to provide for this nation, develop the needed infrastructure, and then to provide what we have to provide before, rather than waiting for it into the future. We want to get it done now and pay the debt later on. And we are doing so, with a committed resolve to leave this nation a better nation, a better Ghana. And so their complaints are understood, but you cannot have any nation in this world without debts. Debt is one part of running an economy. And all the nations, the UK, Germany, you can think about all the nations, US, and all of them, they run on debts. So it's not a new thing. What they are complaining about are the levels. And definitely it's the reason we impose on ourselves the will not to go in for further loans and not to grant any more sovereign guarantees. We've already taken note of it and we are working towards it. We know the level we will reach and not go beyond it. And even to reduce the debt levels, we are making efforts to do so.
Okay. You listen to the finance minister. I keep saying that, the debt now being piled up for whatever projects that will be undertaken with those monies that will be collected or borrowed, they'll substantially pay for themselves. Is that that's the policy now?
Yeah, they are, in other words, amortizing. They are self-paying. When you invest in those debts, they will repay. For example, the gas infrastructure is going to repay itself, and several other infrastructure items that are being constructed. They are debts that will be commercial, will have a commercial value and will be paying back themselves. And that's the kind of debts we are now incurring. But they will all still appear in your books as debts. Even when you guarantee for something to be provided for the people of this country, it will appear as debt. So these are, when you do the analysis of the debt profile, you would realize that they are not as similar to the early ones that we incurred.
But is it not true that you're borrowing to refinance restructured debt payment?
Can you ask the question again?
You're borrowing to pay debt.
Yeah.
To refinance.
Oh, you are talking about the Eurobond. we are going
in some
in
respect,
for...
but I mean, it's not only because of this very Eurobond. There's been some others we've issued that we've used to pay for some others. For example, we know that it's on record that in 2007, that very Eurobond that we went for, we hadn't paid up, so we had to go borrow so that we can pay up.
Yeah, I think that's the only major debt we incur, to refinance other debts, you know, to make sure we don't allow some interest to pile up to an extent that it becomes a burden. So you refinance it and then have fresh interest, and which will not be a problem to you. I mean, it's a financial decision which is very strategic and which is much more acceptable than the traditional, conventional borrowing.
Do you think the way it's communicated sometimes it makes you look bad, really? You look at the debt stock and it's frightening. 90 billion. 90
billion Ghana cedis. Yeah, it is. You know, it's a combination of factors.
You do agree that it's frightening? That as a country?
No, I don't agree. It's frightening to those who think it's frightening, I mean. But if you look at the whole idea, I mean, if you want to analyze it, you realize that what used to be 90 billion is because of the cedi, you know, the fall of the cedi. So it has increased the amount as if it's some balloon, big figure and all that. But we borrow in dollars. So if you convert it to the same dollar rates, you realize that it's not the kind of figure.
Oh, true, but we still have to mop up in cities.
Yes,
to convert
so when you mop up in cedi, especially at a time, calculated at a time when the cedi reached 4 to $1, then you say that it's a very big thing and all that. But all said and done, debt is not a good thing to be comfortable about. We know it, and we are working very hard towards it to make sure that we don't continue to pile up debt, and that we service our debts regularly and diligently, and to make sure we give the economy a shape that is the best.
What will you say to the minority and even some economists and think tanks who constantly have criticized government that you're not borrowing wisely? You're borrowing sometimes, even though you claim that some of the projects will pay for themselves, for social intervention projects, just because you have the election in mind. 2016.
So they can mention a few of them so we can analyze them.
You want me to mention for you?
Yeah. The gang of four rows.
You build a lot of things.
The gang of 4 rows, which many of them, some of them they started and failed to complete and didn't have money. They didn't even have a clue where the money was going to come from. We borrowed to finish it. They are very critical. The gas infrastructure, we borrowed to finish it. It's very important. And the water facilities in Accra and in other cities, we borrowed to finish them up. I mean, to work on them and to get water for the people. They are very critical. They are not child's play. Power. We are all crying because of Doomsaw. We are borrowing money. We've guaranteed for IPPs to bring power to the nation. You know, these are very critical infrastructure, very critical points where we could not do without borrowing. So, and those are the big borrowings that we have done. And they are not things that they can say they are not wise. So I disagree with them completely.
It's not a matter of priority. They feel that, well, looking at the state of the economy, the challenges we're facing with energy, revenue, generation, etc., we just have to take a decision and say, we don't do this water project now, and so we don't go and borrow. I mean, if you look at the scale of preference, to me, in my lay mind, it will make a lot of sense.
That we don't borrow for water?
Well, you can borrow for water. Some projects you can delay.
Well, we can delay, but we can't delay for water. You hear about the cholera outbreak that went haywire everywhere. And for a nation like Ghana in the 21st century, we cannot afford to wait for us to get money before we can provide water for Accra. Kumasi, Tamale, Wa, you know, thankfully my town is one of the beneficiaries. You know, over 100 million water project is going on in Wa and spreading on. I remember in the MPP regime when I raised an issue, made a statement in Parliament, and lamenting about the water situation in Wa, and the fact that in this era, women are still trekking kilometers to go and fetch water. I was informed by the then Minister for Works and Housing, Water Resources, that Wa can only get water in 20 years because the water table was very low, and he explained some complex things to us.
But now you can't get water.
Now we have...
Maybe the geography of the area has changed.
It's not the geography. There's a river that lies, the Black Volta that runs about 30 kilometers away from Wa. Okay. It's now being piped into the city, and people are happy.
That's a huge project.
Yeah, it's
30 kilometers,
project.
that's huge.
It's a huge project.
Right. We know that the Ghana Medical Association issued a directive to its members that they should embark on a strike action. And so this is what we've been doing. We've been deploying reporters to various regional as well as community hospitals to look at the state of medical care and whether the medical doctors are at post and other health personnel as well. Now we have from the Ashanti region, the regional correspondent Erastus Asaridonko. Good morning, Erastus. Which of the hospitals have you visited? And would you say the doctors are at post or not?
Good morning to you. I've visited the Kumasi hospital where doctors are currently meeting it's a normal meeting they have in the morning, and I'm being told that out of that meeting they will decide whether to be on duty today or leave a skeleton staff to oversee emergencies or not. Now I'm at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital currently, where lots of patients are here. Most of them at the police unit where they see general cases, and at the specialist OPD up there as well. Lots of patients waiting for doctors to come. They are not sure whether doctors will come or not, but many of them have taken their cards in anticipation that they will get treatment. It's quite unusual for this place to be without a doctor at this particular time after 8. Let me speak with a patient here who has been here for some time. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How long have you been here? I was there around 3:30. It's early in the morning. Have you seen a doctor? No, not at all. I haven't seen a doctor yet. I'm yet to see a doctor.
What have you been told?
Well, nothing has been told or nothing has been said about the paramedical staff over here. But we are still waiting if something will be told that whether the doctors will come or not.
So now you are not sure whether the doctors will come or not?
I'm not sure at all. We are not quite sure whether they will come or not.
How does that make you feel?
I feel bad because we've been here for quite a substantial number of hours without actually not telling us anything. So it feels so bad. I personally feel so bad because about 5 hours now that I've been here, nothing has been said, nothing has been told, no action has been taken.
Thank you very much. So you had a patient, many patients here share the same view because nothing is being said about whether the doctors are coming or not. I asked the nurse earlier at the specialist OPD area, and she said they've been calling some of them, but they are not picking their calls, and they are not sure whether the doctors will come or not.
Well, thank you very much, Erastus Asaridonko. But where will you be going from here?
Come again.
Which of the hospitals will you be visiting after the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital?
Well, we have the Sontreso Government Hospital as well. I'll be moving over to the place to check for myself what is happening there. I'll be going to the University Hospital, that's the Tech Hospital as well, to see what is happening there as well.
Well, thank you, Erastus Asaridonko, regional correspondent at Ashanti, giving us the latest update. And where he was giving us the other reports, those are the premises of the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. So now we've come to the point. Government has made the decision, but we still need to borrow to at least service some other issues as far as what the line items are on the budget, so to speak.
Yeah. We
have no option.
We have no option.
But we're being prudent, you say.
For key projects. You know, for example, I heard one of the members of the opposition, a key member of the NPP, Gabi, urging government to even if we have to borrow and fix the light, fix it, if we have to charge high, Ghanaians will understand. I mean, if the same opposition are saying, why are you borrowing? It's a big question. So there are critical areas we cannot avoid going in for credit. And when we go in for credit, we hope that it will be understood. And in total, it is to better the conditions of our people.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for passing through the studio.
And let me say that I will encourage the doctors once more to give up their strike and their possible resignation on block. Their leaders are responsible and should not lead the doctors astray. It's important that they stay on course and negotiate. Please give it up. Don't say you are resigning on block. It's not good. It's not part of our tradition. It's not part of our lives. The people of Ghana did not train you to run away when there is a challenge. Face the challenge and get out with it, and get out with a solution. You will succeed. Stay on course.
Great talk, great diplomat. I love that. That's political diplomacy. And Dr. Rashid Pelpo, and he has been here speaking to us, Member of Parliament for Wa Central. And he's also the minister responsible for private sector and PPPs, public-private partnerships.